Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come to His grace that brought me safe. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come to His grace.
So, this is Attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 877 3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you, so call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718 877 3100.
That guy was dead about the rules, boy. What the boy? Selassie, boy. Selassie, boy. Rules, girl, boy. All in girl, the one up, boy. Chill, boy. It's gas. Well, how do we got to them continue yard, boy? We go over them peep, boy. That guy was dead about the rules, boy. What the boy? Selassie, boy. Selassie, boy. Rules, girl, boy. All in girl, the one up, boy. Chill, boy. It's gas. Well, how do we got to them continue yard, boy? We go over them peep, boy.
All right, hey, guess what? Good evening. My name is Mark Benchap, and welcome to Straight Up. We are going to probably be on for just about the hour. We are going to be on just for the hour. I will be looking at some of your comments, and we'll take it from there. I noticed somebody's asking someone who is laughing. Well, sometimes, you got to excuse some of these people who just come on to mimic situations, and most of them are PPP people. There's no if, ands, or buts about that. But there are some folks who accidentally just would press the, instead of pressing the sad button, they can accidentally press the laughing button. And this is no laughing matter. So, what happened to those 19 or so young people, school children in Mahdia? The names of those are here on the screen. Adanye Jerome, Trissel Thomas, Lisa Roberts, Delicia Edwards, Loretta Williams, Natalie Bellarmine, Ariana Edwards, Cleoma Simon, Sabrina John, Martha Dondrade, Lauren Evans, Belnisa Evans, Mary Dandrade, Omirfia Edwin, Nickleen Robinson, Sharina Daniels, Yolanda Carter, Andrea Roberts, Rita Jeffrey. All of these young people perished in that fire. All of the young people perished in that fire. All of them. All of them were young people. They could have been our kids. And all, whether you're a parent or not, all of us should feel the pain. Every single one of us should feel that pain. And especially those of us who feels it, those of us who feel it, no. Those of us who would have experienced the loss of a child, especially under this particular circumstance of fire. It's painful, and we can only imagine what the parents are going through at this point in time. We can only imagine. All little kids, every single one of them. This is not about politics. It's about human lives. And the truth of the matter is, we have a very uncaring regime run by a set of vagabonds who do not care. They never cared about these young people. They turned a blind eye on these young people. And so we see reports like this now. And this is the government's mouthpiece that would rush with this sort of report to say, breaking, Mahdia fire was maliciously set by student. And so now they want to divert attention from their negligence in saying that the fire was caused as from some malicious, it was maliciously set by a student. And so they're painting this thing here now, that there is this student, according to this investigation that was conducted swiftly, no independent investigation, no nothing, but somebody says something and they rush with it. And so they want you guys, the general public, to calm down and say that this should have never happened because of this student who allegedly set some fire, because this student was upset that she was disciplined, allegedly, and she wanted to go outside. And you know the whole sort of Guyanese story. Oh, you know, little girls, they want to go meet man and all sort of things. And that's how the PPP and the propagandists are packaging this story right now. To give this impression now, to divert attention so that some of the gullible ones in public can say, oh, look at what a girl did. She should not have done that, man. Why she set the place on fire? Why did she do this? She should have never done it. She should have never. They're doing this to divert attention. That's what they're doing, to divert attention from the real issue. The real issue is not what this young girl allegedly did. That is not the real issue. Of course, it's an issue, don't get me wrong, if in fact it is correct. But in less than 24 hours, the acting fire chief has concluded that this is the cause of fire. There's no independent investigation. There's none whatsoever. To heck with an independent investigation. The acting fire chief said is done. We must accept that it's done, and we must just call it that. That's it. No independent investigations. We don't know whether it's some sort of wrong wiring, electrical wiring. We don't know what it is, but because of the acting fire chief, miraculously concluded that it was maliciously set by some student who had a problem. And so, look, let us take, for example, if that was the case indeed, and that this student got upset, and notice what the student did is sprinkle some stuff on the ceiling. Quick, sprinkle it. This sprinkle it, just dash something, spray some stuff. And then that's it. The place just started burning down. How is it? How is it? How is it that this place started burning down and all of them were trapped? There was no way out. They're not telling us whether whoever had a big padlock on the door prevented these kids from leaving, because there was one way in. And I suppose, mind you, because there's nothing thus far to contradict it, one way in, one way out. Every place else barred up, caged up, locked up, tighter than the Mazaruni prisons, tighter than Camp Street prisons. Of course, I should know about that. Tighter. Probably like the dungeon, strong cell area. And strong cell areas, basically you had to go through about 3 big gates to get to where they had me. Sealed off. And if there was a fire there, that's it. And so this is also the same thing that we have observed happen right here with these young people who perished in that fire. They perished in that fire, not as a result of this quote unquote maliciously set fire, whatever, by a student. It's not as a result of that. Again, I want to say it is as a result of negligence, the PPP, particularly the Ministry of Education. They heard about things, they knew that all of the things that they were doing were wrong. You can't get a little piece of space and house 60 something, maybe 70 something students in there. Young people, just dash them there with no proper supervision. They didn't take into account that what if there is a fire? What's going to happen to these students? Now, all of them are running. They're rushing over all day, inundated with photographs and all kind of things. Prayers. Look, they're praying. And that evil one, Robeson Ben, is looking probably at a woman or whatever he's looking at there. The evil one, Robeson Ben. I don't know why this guy is praying. I honestly don't know why Irfan Ali is praying. What's there to pray? What is he praying about? What for? When they are responsible for what has happened, all of the students who died, they died as a result of a reckless regime. All of this fall right at the doorsteps of Irfan Ali, Priya Manik Chand, and those guys. So don't let them fool you with this prayer. They're bowing their head, they're praying, and all manner of stuff. That's not going to bring back the kids. It's not. And so again, I go back into saying that this is where they want to divert our attention. To say, and so people could start talking now about some little girl who is alleged, and the person may have died and all these different things. The person is not here to defend herself. And so they want it to stick on her. And then the conspiracy theories and all these sort of things. Oh, what happened? She must have get some man out there and just wanted to burn down the place, these little girls and so forth. Oh, okay. Even if that were the case, we don't know. There has been no proper investigations conducted. And we can't just go by somebody who said this and this body who said that. And the acting fire chief concludes that that's it. Boom. We're going to stick with that. That sounds believable. Then they rush in and they're praying. Then someone all the way in Mahdia, Neville Sital, is saying, look, He's saying Irfan Ali run in his vehicle today at Mahdia, answering none of our questions, none whatsoever. The truth of the matter is he doesn't care. Civic, Neville Sital, also known as Civic. Irfan Ali doesn't care. Priya Manik-Chan doesn't care. They go on these scenes and they pretend, they put on their crocodile tears for the photographs. And that's it. That is what they're concerned about. They're not concerned about the victims' relatives. But Irfan Ali and all of them want to meet, and they have met with the relatives. And this is what they have done. You could just read them like a book. This is what they have done. Promise them that they are going to take care of all the funeral expenses. We'll take care of the funeral expenses. Don't worry. And we're going to give you guys a couple $1 million. Shh, and just be quiet. Man, you know how these things go. Is a little girl set the fire, you know. And all these things they're going to attempt to brainwash the families right now. Took them in with buses. Bus them in quickly. Rush them in. Sweet talk them. And try to hush things down with them. And then the story dies. In another 2-3 days, that's it. All of the promises made to the families, all of the promises made to them. Then Irfan Ali says 3 days of national mourning for Mahdia dorm victims. PPP Mahdia dorm victims. That is what they should put. 3 days of mourning. You know, the truth of the matter is, Guyana has been mourning since August 1st, 2020. Guyana has been mourning since then. From fire to fire to fire to schools to police stations to DPP chambers, you name it. Every single day there is something in that country that's happening. Every single day something bad in that country is happening since the PPP took office. By means of rigged elections. Every single day. Every single day. They're not going to come and tell you, remember, almost a year and a half now, the acting fire chief said that they will release the results of the headquarters fire that burnt the Office of Professional Responsibilities, housed in the compound at Ivleri there, burnt that flat on the ground. And you know that was during the time when they were investigating the Boston murder out there in Essequibo. Nothing at all. No fire report. They said, Robeson-Ben said that he's going to release it to the public. Nothing at all. The Brick Dam fire, they pinned that on a little boy that was probably related, that is related to Houdini. Could push a piece of wire, carve the wire all the way 1 floor up with a piece of sponge, and was able to burn the Brick Dam police station down. Prime spot, mind you. Prime spot. And then the DPP chambers, part of it burnt. Files probably missing. And then there were schools burnt. All these things under the PPP regime. And so, not only Irfan should be saying 3 days of mourning, when we have been mourning, the nation has been mourning for 3 years now. Look at this. Look at this little boy. Justice for our sisters. He may not understand exactly, but he's seeing and he's hearing what is happening around him. And the cries the sad faces, and the tears. Look at this little guy. And look at this big guy. Grills to windows and doors are for prisoners. Well, we live in a grill window and a grill door society. So even if you have grills around your house, around the doors, and these sort of things, because that's what Guyana is right now, thanks to the PPP. But you must ensure that you have another exit. You must ensure that maybe if there's a fire, that you can protect yourself and your family. What has happened with these young people is that they were locked in, big padlock on the door. They can't leave. No way out. That's it. They couldn't leave. And there was no one, apparently, there was no one to go there and open the door for them. No one, absolutely no one. And so for them to rush so quickly to say that, oh, the fire was maliciously set without any independent investigation, is that I wouldn't buy that. And I'm asking you guys not to buy into that. There must be an independent investigation. There have got to be an independent investigation in this thing. We can't buy what the PPP is telling us. The PPP is notorious for lying. And so not because they're packaging this that we must put our hands up and say, oh, it is true. No, we don't know that. There must be an independent investigation to arrive at what the truth is really. That might be one version. Then there might be another version that, oh, some little boy or some little, one of the students, they saw fire sparking in the ceiling. It could be that too. We don't know. I'm just assuming here, mind you. But they just want us to rush with one little thing that they said. The other thing is, they knew about this dorm. And this dorm is no different than others throughout the country. There's no difference. Where especially young indigenous girls and boys are being treated like third-class citizens. And because you know the saying is, oh, they're from the bush. And therefore, they don't know better, according to how people in this PPP regime think. And so they give them anything. Oh, give them anything, man. Put them in a little place and put 100 of them, let them sleep on the ground, let them sleep on some bunk, 2, 3, 4 of them on a bunk bed, and all these things. That is how they treat persons of indigenous background. They go into the indigenous communities and they give them a boat. They give them something for make little, whatever it is. And that is how they treat these folks. We know that they have no respect or nothing for persons of African descent. We also know that even their own supporters, they don't respect. And so that is why I'm saying that Guyana has been mourning since. Guyana has been mourning since August 1st, 2020. Shame. Shame on the PPP regime. Shame on these vagabonds. Shame on them. Oh, honestly, I didn't want to be on the show tonight because what else is there to talk? What else is there to talk? There isn't anything else to say other than we've got to do something about the PPP being in office. We've got to do something. We can't sit by and think that everything is honky-dory and that they lie to us every single day. They steal the monies and all these sort of things. Something has got to happen. And that is why on June 12th, you got to go out there and vote in the local government elections, vote against the PPP. Vote against the PPP. Just vote against them. Forget about these people that they're paying a $2,000 or $5,000, give free food, because that is what they are about. They are about brainwashing people, buying votes, and all these different things. Paying people to attend crowds. This is what they do with taxpayers' money. And you see they're flying in and out of Mahdia right now. Maybe we should ask Jerry Govaya, how much money is he making? How much millions is he making? Flying these people in and out of Mahdia. And if in fact his aviation agency is getting a bulk of the government's, so-called government's contracts, then isn't that a conflict of interest? Because Jerry Govaya is supposed to be the national security advisor, right? Is he making millions of dollars? Is he flying people in and out? Or is it done for free? We don't know, but these are questions that we should be asking, and they should be able to answer these questions. So while they're out there trying to buy votes and give people red t-shirts to put on, knowing very well they don't give a damn about the country, take a look at them. Take a look at what they're doing. This is all they're concerned about. People got to clean up gutter. They're giving billions and hundreds of millions of dollars to their friends and cronies, the Mohammeds and them. Suddenly they're contractors and giving them hundreds of millions of taxpayers' monies. Look at this. And other overnight contractors like the critics and all these critic or whatever he call himself. That's all they're doing. Giving taxpayers, hard-earned taxpayers' money to their friends and cronies. And these people, they're given a box of cocoa. Look at the young lady at the back there with her t-shirt. Red t-shirt. This is all the PPP is concerned about. And get this young lady here pushing her hand in a dirty bucket. And they're taking a photograph. And this is supposed to be a nice image. This is supposed to be a nice image. These images are supposed to be good images, right? I'm looking at and reading some of your comments. See the image? This is what they feel or they believe persons of African descent can do. You give them a couple dollars, you give them a red t-shirts, and they're gonna give them little tools to go and clean gutters. Go and clean gutters. I hope y'all eyes are opening. I hope y'all eyes are opening to see what the PPP is all about. Whether it's Jack Dale, whether it's Irfan Ali, to see what they're all about. They don't care about you, the people. And look at most of the candidates who go in and pick up and giving red t-shirts too. Look at them. Check out their background and all kind of things, all manner of things. And then you could trust. The PPP wants you guys to trust them. So in Festival City, I believe it was yesterday, they had some fighting for turf again, whether it was yesterday or when it was. Let me see if you recognize that lady sitting there at the police, East La Penitence police station, at the inquiry desk section there. Sit down, waiting to give a report. Let me see if you guys know these people. I'll check the comment section to see if you guys know who is sitting there in their red t-shirt, giving a false report about somebody who allegedly was cursing and chasing her out of Festival City. Well, if the people are chasing these PPP people out of Festival City, you can't blame them, because they're doing exactly what Jack Dale asked them to do, right? Asked his supporters to do. That's exactly That's exactly what Jack Dale asked his supporters to do. So if the APNU, PNC, AFC supporters are doing that now, why then are they vexed? Why then are they saying it's a problem? Look, listen to Jack Dale, what Jack Dale said.
Right across Ghana, when the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're illegal. Free up the country, you're undemocratic. They're going to face a different situation right across the country. When they come to the communities, whether it is in Berbice or Essequibo and Linden or in South Georgetown or Agricola or in Ennore or Port Morant, the people of Guyana should treat them as illegal. I said they should walk behind them, chase them out of your communities because it means they've been squatting in power.
So if you guys heard that, right, from Jack Dale, urging his supporters them to chase coalition officials out from their community. Chase them out. That is what Jack Dale urged his supporters to do. Now, the coalition supporters are returning the favor. And they're upset as though it is something bad. Because this PPP regime is considered an illegal regime by almost half of Guyana. More than half of Guyana, they're considered an illegal regime. I don't identify them as a legitimate government. And there are thousands of other persons who do not identify them as a legitimate government at all. And so when they turn up in your communities, what else can you do? You're not going to hug them and kiss them. You're going to do exactly what Jack Dale has suggested. You're returning the favor. You're chasing them out. Now, you're not doing any violence or whatever it is, but you're chasing them out. Tell them, get out. You don't want them. Chase them out. They're illegal. Chase them out. Do just that. Now, because of this incident where Chase Green, they feel that they want to walk in people's communities and people mustn't say anything. People mustn't chase them out. Chase them out, yes. Tell them, get out of here. Get out, go. And so because of that, she went and filed what is said to be a false report to the police. A guy named Dexter Fort is still in police custody. Dexter Fort is still in police custody because that woman sitting there, Chase Parking Meter Green, made a report, a false report about Dexter Fort. And the young man is still in police custody. So what the PPP is doing is using the Guyana police force, to intimidate citizens. All because someone like Parking Meter, Patricia Chase Green, has made a report. But the corruption that went on at City Hall, that's exactly where Patricia Chase Green should be. Not on the inquiry desk, but in the women's lockup, right there, or probably at New Amsterdam prison. Well, speaking of New Amsterdam prisons, right? Should have been somewhere there. But they're making these false reports. Remember what happened in New Amsterdam by that other soup drinker, Barbara Pilgrim, right? Barbara Pilgrim, you guys remember, what happened, right? And you know Barbara, right? For those of you who don't know Barbara, please, you've got to be strong to take a look at her. But take a look at her. That's Barbara. Yeah. That's Barbara. But take a look at what happened in New Amsterdam, where Jack Dale, and this is what the PPP is doing. They're intimidating citizens and calling the police force to do the same and persecute individuals. Remember this situation with Barbara that Barbara caused?
Take it to another area. Yeah, if you want custody, you want custody. Fuck you. You want custody, take it to another area. I never want the road. I can't do nothing. I tell you, I can't do nothing. Why you so too far, you fucking ass? Move from here. Move from where? Move me. Move me. You move me, no? Don't worry. Move me. I said you move. Move me. Move me. You move.
White people are free to make their own decision. How you doing?
I fuck you. I can't fuck any fucking way.
We gonna sell it to BJ tonight. No. Quincy. Water it down. Call the police, man. Call the police. Quincy. Get the police, man. Yes, get the police.
I just see them watching all
Let my go. Let my go again, man.
Mahdia, stop perform.
And so you saw exactly what happened there, right? And then the next day, the guy was charged. And that is what they're doing to protect these house slaves. These flatfoot hustlers, these left side wearing slippers, flatfoot hustlers. This woman was the mayor of New Amsterdam. What has she done? Nothing. This mayor was an MP. What has she done? Nothing. So help me God, you think she could do anything for you guys in New Amsterdam now? June 12th, I hope you guys go out in your numbers. Go out in your numbers. These people don't mean well at all, and they can never mean well. It's all about a hustle for them. All about a hustle for them. Marvin Williams, good evening. I just tried calling you, sir. I need to get a comment from you, concerning this whole situation with the dorm and the loss of all those lives. So I'm looking to have a comment from Marvin Williams, former member of parliament for the PNC, and former advisor to the Minister of Indigenous Affairs. Enough of these. If our operator can take this crapo off the page, we'll appreciate that. Just take a crapo off the page. Want to get in touch with Marvin Williams. I don't know what's going on, but Mr. Williams, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. I know the situation. The situation has everyone feeling emotional, as we should. Give us a quick rundown, sir, on your take on this fire. Saw the lives of at least 19 young people. 19 young people. You were once an MP for the PNC. You were also special advisor, I believe, correct me, for in the coalition government, the Minister of Indigenous Affairs. Walk us through exactly, in terms of your opinion, what really happened at that dorm.
Well, I believe that a lot of finger pointing is taking place, and all of it is in the wrong direction. I observed all the political correctness and posturing and so on, statements having been issued and all that. And I respect the fact that people, are demonstrating a sense of responsibility in the face of the tragedy. I believe that finger pointing, like I said, is in the wrong direction. Already there have been pronouncements while the opposition is being responsible in dealing with this matter and speaking to this matter. The government is obviously very flippant and, in my view, less than responsible. I do not understand how it is possible for the scene of such a horrific fire, which robbed us of so many lives, could be the place where a president, a prime minister, and ministers of government will be allowed to walk among the debris. There's no cordon, nothing to prevent persons from encroaching on that scene. But in the midst of that, here is the police commissioner and the crime chief on the other hand saying that the fire was deliberately set. There is no semblance of evidence to support that. And I know that there are some outstanding cause of fire reports, maybe older than a year, still not forthcoming.
And
I believe that
you are correct. Go ahead, Marvin. Sorry, sir.
Yeah, the question of supervision of the children, I believe, is the critical question to be answered. Apart from the dormitory being reportedly overcrowded, the person who is supposed to be responsible for the well-being and welfare of those children found it possible to secure that grill door with padlock or padlocks, knowing fully well that wrought iron grills are all over that building and even that couldn't come out. And just abandon those children. I have spoken to a former REO on this matter, and he has assured me that by the time he had demitted office, there were 6 large, fully charged and fully maintained fire extinguishers in each of the dormitory facilities there. When you look at the debris and the videos that are available, you do not get a sense that even one was in that building. And it could not have melted, the heat could not have melted such a cylinder. I do not believe it could have been possible. So here's the Don's mother who torturedly imprisoned our children, left them there with one of her own, and went about her merry business. There is no fire alarm. Who is going to hear those children screaming? This is heart-wrenching. This is a national disaster beyond proportions. Look, Mark, this disaster has claimed less lives than only the Son Chapman tragedy of so many years ago. There has not been a single incident of this nature that has taken as many lives. And people have got to start taking responsibility for this stewardship. The Minister of Amerindian Affairs has responsibility. The Minister of Regional Development has major responsibility, because in every region there is a department for every ministry of government. There's an education department among those. The Minister of Local Government and Regional Development has responsibility. The Minister of Education has responsibility. The Minister of Home Affairs has critical responsibility for fire and the fire service. And for a unit to turn up there without water is inexcusable. And that building was almost impenetrable when it comes to windows and doors. People had to break walls. It was easier to demolish walls, to bore holes in walls to get our children out than it was to break a lock. This thing has far-reaching implications, and for the president to say that there'll be 3 days of mourning is hypocrisy. The People's National Congress reform has called for a suspension of all celebratory activities for the independence anniversary and for a solemn day to be observed in memory of our children who perished. In response and counter strategy, Irfan Ali said there'll be 3 days of mourning starting at 4 o'clock this afternoon, unprecedented. But the intention is to ensure that the 3 days end before May 26, so we could go back to our usual frolic, even in the face of such a tragedy. It is up to the people of Region 9 to stay home and mourn for our indigenous children, or to go out there and join the PPP in their frolic. I know where my heart is. I know where my heart is.
You know, Marvin.
I know.
Marvin.
I know. One moment.
Go ahead, Marvin. Sorry, sir. Go ahead.
One moment. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
I know.
Yeah.
I know that if the children who perished in this unfortunate inferno were of a different extraction, or national outrage would be immeasurable in comparison to what we're seeing.
No, points well taken, Marvin. I want to ask you, as it pertains to the statement made by Jerry Govaya, that there were massacres under the the coalition, Luziknan, Bartika, all manner of things. What relevance do you think that had? He's not talking about investigations with him and cocaine smuggling out through his handling agent at the airport. He's not talking about helicopter that was supposedly given to him, allegedly, mind you, that was housed under his property. He's not talking about these things. He's not talking about a state-owned property that was given to him for less of the actual value. He's not talking about these things, but he's talking about a Luziknan massacre and a Bartika massacre. What's the relevance in this here, sir?
There are two things I want to point out here, Mark. One is that I received reports, which I hope are not true, are not correct, that there were actually 2 aircrafts on the ground in Mahdia, and that the municipal authorities sought to engage the operators of those 2 aircrafts to shuttle our children out to Georgetown immediately as they were taken out from that building, the injured. But my information is, and again I hope it's not correct, that Jerry Govaya is responsible for medical evacuation and his instructions were to be awaited upon. The report I received continues on to say that Jerry Govaya landed there with one of his Rima aircrafts, and at that point it was not possible for any aircraft to take off from Mahdia because the weather was really, really bad. But nothing could have moved unless Jerry Govaya was on the ground and Jerry Govaya's aircraft was involved. This is the report I received. Again, I do not know if it is accurate. But if it is, then it's cause to be alarmed. It is cause to be alarmed. There was a second point I was going to make, but somehow it eluded me a little bit. Oh, by the way, here it is. Those things that happened bear no relevance to what happened in Mahdia today. And only a lunatic will try to link those occurrences. What is interesting is that if anyone is going to talk about massacres and so on, the man who's allegedly responsible for some of those deaths, a man who has been convicted and sentenced for some of those deaths, somehow miraculously walks out of matrimony prison environment and remains at large while members of the Ghanaian Defense Force are busy cleaning the streets of Georgetown. These are the things that citizens need to look at. You know, you disrespect and dishonor the indigenous families and the deceased young women and the little boy by attempting to equate the tragedy that took them from us with criminal activities that happened so many years ago. It is not a question that I think very likely. And if in fact Jerry tried to equate these two sets of events, the man has no shame.
But you did speak of the Son Chapman event. A lot of maybe the younger folks probably wouldn't know, but that's an event that happened many, many years ago in the 60s, I believe. And it was alleged that the PPP was actually responsible for that. With a boat with a bunch of people heading towards Linden, and it was bombed. Allegedly, the bomb was planted by the PPP. And so you are correct, Mr. Williams, that no one seems to know what the relevance is as it pertains to Jerry Govaya talking about equating this event here with these young people that died as a result of the PPP's negligence, to that of a massacre, to that of Lindo. He should know about these things, mind you. He should know about Jonestown. Maybe some of those dead people at Jonestown probably still looking for Jerry Govaya. So he should know good about massacre and who benefited from those sort of things. What sort of investigation, Marvin, you believe should be conducted, other than what the acting fire chief is saying that it's done? He is investigated. He has concluded that this is what happened. One of the female student had some problem. She was vexed and she set the place afire, and that's it. It's done with. We should just shut up and move on.
Matt, I want to make this point. Regardless of how that fire started, regardless of who started the fire, regardless of what prompted someone to maliciously set a fire, if indeed that is the case, which my sources tell me is not the case, no one would have perished in that fire had some irresponsible person not locked our children in a prison-like facility and abandoned them. I started out by saying that the finger pointing is in the wrong direction. It appears as though there's an attempt to bury the cause of the fire, because the person who they are alleging may have maliciously started this fire may very well be among the dead. So the cause goes, and for them the story is ended. But for me, that building could have been burnt flat and not a single hair on the head of any one of those girls would have been scorched had that door been open, had the emergency exit not been chained and padlocked from the external. Look, the deputy mayor said today that the last time she checked that school, there were softwood bars and mesh on those windows to prevent untoward behavior, persons coming in or going out without permission. The mayor and town council of Mahdia, in which municipality that building is, were never informed, were never consulted, were never engaged in any plan to affix any wrought iron grill to that building. The parents were not consulted. They simply went there and made that place a prison. The municipality, the management of the municipality needs to be engaged, need to know what's happening. They have local knowledge. They'll be able to guide a process. They'll be able to guide a system. They'll be able to formulate a policy. They'll be able to people that policy and manage it properly. But here comes the Ministry of Regional Development through the Regional Democratic Council, which was hijacked with the help of Schuman.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Schuman, when you finish your point, explain to us why you think Schuman, who usually loves to parrot his mouth, is so quiet now.
Well, I imagine, there's an old saying when we were growing up that when parrots feed, the place is silent. When parrots feed, the place is silent. I think that should answer your question.
Gotcha. Well, continue, sir. Continue making your points.
So the issue really is that Regional Democratic Council acting alone under the instructions of its minister, I'm advised. These are all reports I received today. Did what they did without reference to the mayor and town council of Mahdia. And this is no surprise. It's happening in all the municipalities, in all of the local authority areas, where the high-handedness of the central government literally renders nugatory the existence of local authority councils. And it is an insult to the principle of democracy. It is an insult to the locally elected leaders. And the whole concept of local democracy and local government is being made a joke of by central government dominance and manipulation. The People's Progressive Party has no interest in local democracy. It has no interest in local government, and is parading itself to the onlookers from the international community. Say, oh, we love local government. We'll have the elections. But at the end of the day, those elected officials serve no purpose because all of their decisions are being overtaken by decisions of the central government, as in the case of the grilling of that building that took 19 of our children away from us. And the disrespect by the people who went there. I mean, Mr. Ali holds the office of president and says to the local residents, you need to leave the room so I could speak with the relatives of the children. Every citizen of Mahdia holds him or herself out as a parent to those children in that school. You cannot disrespect the people by asking them to leave and hold a closed door meeting with persons so you can, as the old people say, soft soap them in the hope that information doesn't come out to the effect of what it is you were talking about. This is a national issue. Mahdia is a closely knit community. It's a municipality that's new, but the people have been there for decades and decades. And they're one huge family. The people whose children perished in that fire are not from Mahdia, but they're looked out for by the people of Mahdia as their very own. They come from Chinapao, they come from Maikobi, they come from Carisparu, they come from Parmakatoy. So you are, by separating the people from Mahdia from the families, you are creating a division. And divisiveness cannot help our cause at times like these. Times like these require every single citizen to embrace each other, to lend support, and to help us through this crisis. But it is known and believed that as long as there's that kind of unity, there'll be the realization that someone or some group of people are responsible for what happened and should be held accountable, and that is what is being avoided by separating people.
Mr. Williams, I've noticed, and sometimes I should ignore some of these ridiculous. Well, one person by the name of Jane Phillip, we already know that's probably a fake name. Why is the host allowing this guy to talk such craziness? Where is the craziness he's talking? Look, let the operator throw this person in the trench, and we have absolutely no apologies for that. But that is what some of the PPP folks would do. They think that the truth, whenever people speak the truth, as in your case, it's craziness. But we're not bothered by them.
Mark, I have this problem. I have this problem in terms of public appearances and public pronouncement, public outings for me. Many people mistake me for a mirror, so I don't particularly fault the gentleman for seeing what he
it's
saw.
supposed to be a woman. But look, someone from Mahdia, Neville Sital, also known as Civic, who was persecuted under the Jack Dio's presidency. Civic is saying here, Irfan Ali run in his vehicle today at Mahdia, answering none of our questions. None of our questions. Your take again, you just mentioned that insensitive part. Well, it's not like he knows anything better. But how disrespectful, again, how disrespectful is that for the residents of Mahdia?
The name Irfan Ali is synonymous with the word disrespect. There's nothing else to add.
What's the way forward with this this situation? 19, this horrific situation. 19.
There's need for an immediate independent investigation. There's need for a review of our residential schools facilities. In 2008, there was a fire at Ramadan. I believe three children died in that one in 2008. There is a need for all safety measures, all safety agencies to examine all these facilities for safety measures being complied with. I believe there's need for, apart from counselors, from social workers and counselors in each school, as is required in each police station, in my estimation as well. There's need for occupational safety and health person in each one of these residential school facilities. I believe if a review is done, you will recognize that it is not safe to have one person responsible for a dormitory with over 60 children inside it. There have to be measures that include security officers, changing shifts fairly regularly, and there's need for support for whoever is dorm parent. Dorm parents, I don't think should leave the premises and go anywhere, but there's need for an investigation, and the findings will inform on measures that are required, and there's need for a review of every single residential school facility in this country, not just in the hinterland. And personnel need to be trained, equipped, and deployed.
All right.
I believe that the opposition has ideas, and I believe that the government, against its instinctive reaction that we are familiar with, should listen to some of the measures that the opposition may from time to time offer, and to incorporate them in whatever approaches they take moving forward. But education is not a partisan political issue. The safety of our children cannot be a partisan political issue. We are all consumed by this, and there has to be a space, a safe space created for the participation of every well-thinking citizen in this country when it comes to the safety and well-being of our children.
Well said. Marvin Williams, former member of parliament, former advisor to the Minister of Indigenous Affairs, special advisor, has been around in politics for quite some time, a former executive member, probably still is, of the People's National Congress Reform. Marvin Williams, well said. Don't be a stranger, my friend. Thank you so much. I understand the pain that almost everyone is going through right now. And I couldn't disagree
Thanks,
with anything that you have said. Thank you very much, Mr. Williams. Appreciate it.
And thanks for your kind sentiments as well for the indigenous peoples population of this country. We truly appreciate your kindness.
Thank you so much, Marvin. And, our condolences to the family members and the friends and colleagues of these young ones. Take care, sir. Appreciate it.
Right.
Marvin Williams here for you guys, a senior member of the People's National Congress Reform. And I agree with Marvin. There's only one thing that is needed right now is an independent investigation. We can't go with what the acting crime or police fire chief is saying, or the acting lots of actors. We can't accept what they're saying. It's a shame and disgrace, and the blame fall squarely at the doorsteps of Irfan Ali, Priya Manik Jan, and these guys. They are the ones who should be blamed. I'll be back tomorrow. Same place, same time, right here on 107.1 FM. Condolences again to the family members of all these little ones who have lost their lives as a result, again, of the PPP. Priya Manik Jan, shame on you. Irfan Ali, shame on you. And I also agree that Mashramani celebration should be postponed this year. There should be no jumping up, no partying, no big celebration for nothing. Nothing, no sporting. There's nothing to celebrate. Absolutely nothing to celebrate. Let's go quiet this year, guys. Love you all. Pray for our country.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no less days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Hello, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm, located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.